Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we're going to talk about a topic which a lot of players out there have not discussed about in quite some time, and for most certainly valid reason, but about live tournaments return to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! How will that impact Yu-Gi-Oh? What will happen when that day does come? And I know a lot of players out there are waiting for those live tournaments to start happening. Maybe your locals has not opened up. Maybe it's shut down completely. Maybe it is reopened, but you're still not having those regional tournaments in live person. You're still not having those YCS level events in a live setting, really. And I think the best way of putting this is a quote from Uncle Iroh. Even though right now it may seem like we are in a dark tunnel, and we may not see the light at the end of the tunnel. If we keep moving forward, we will eventually find ourselves in a better place. And that's the truth right now with that situation, I feel like. We may not feel like we're ever going to have live events again, but it will happen. It may be a long time from now. It may be a few months from now. We don't know. But all we can say is that it will happen again, and it will have an impact on the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! No matter what you feel the game is at in its current state. I feel like right now a lot of things, not just Yu-Gi-Oh!, are in what I would call a dormant state. And I say this as somebody who does banking, and just as somebody who also knows a lot of people in the medical field as well. My girlfriend is a nurse. I know a lot of doctors. I know a lot of people that are very high up in the DC metropolitan area. So saying these things, I tell you with this, things will get better, but it will take time. It will take time. It could be a while, but it will get better. And the impact that Yu-Gi-Oh! Will have upon its return on the market, I think, is one of the major things people are underestimating first off. So let's talk about that, and there's some other key points I want to discuss about, pretty much 2 to 3 key points. But let's talk about the market first. I think this is something that people underestimate, and if you've paid attention to other Yu-Gi-Tubers, John has said this multiple times, other people have said this multiple times, when major live events start happening, you're going to see a lot of money flowing. And this is something that a lot of players don't truly understand, especially if you haven't been to a lot of live events or you're not a veteran of going to major YCSs or back in the day SJCs, of the amount of cash and cards that exchange hands rapidly. I mean, heck, there's multiple times. I mean, it feels like forever ago, but at certain national events, there'll be that one hot card, and it may be a $5 card, but nobody has it in the room, and it jumps up to a $30 card because it's the hot tech card of the current national format. But saying all that, I think that's also important to keep in mind too. Is when we have live events again, I expect some card prices to go down very quickly. I really, really do. I don't know how drastically this is going to happen, but the fact that you're going to probably see a lot of cash changing hands and a lot of cards changing hands leads me to believe that slowly you're going to start to see some prices dip. And would that be in the nostalgic old school market? Maybe. I don't know. But I think it ties in. I believe that it will happen for certain cards. I believe card prices overall will dip a little bit more, especially for those cards that are quote-unquote staples of the format, because all we have to go off right now, and this is the reason that I'm kind of not paying attention to tournament results right now, is, like I said, overall, everything's kind of like in a freeze zone. I mean, Konami's, yeah, they've done a ban list, they hit some stuff, yada, 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 but, at the same time, the only thing we have to go off is online tournaments and stuff like that. And from the online tournaments I've seen and watched and heard, it's very, I don't want to say scattered, but it's scattered. The data is not clumped together. It's like if you took up it's the data is not in a strict circle. It's like a pepper shot, like a shotgun, blast. It's all over the place. It's not, in certain little areas clumped together. That this is the best deck of the format. It's spread out a lot more than you usually see after a few YCSs, and that's very interesting, especially to see. And I've seen random decks top, and people are like, "Oh, it topped on the online dueling," and I'm like, "Oh, would it top in real life? Maybe, I don't know." Like, exactly, because no one knows, because there's no empirical data to some degree. There's not a lot of raw data to go off of, really, if you think about it. So I take it with a grain of salt to some degree. And saying that at the same time, I think that will affect the card prices, which is why I'm saying once you have more data on what's good, what's solid, prices go down. Again, this is another thing that will be affected. We'll know more about the format. The format will be more defined. That's the second thing I want to mention about it, is when more bigger tournaments start happening in live, you're going to start to see, not things maybe go back to as normal, but you'll start to see a new normal. You'll start to see something that's resembling what we used to have before all this took place, before Crush Card. You'll start to see something like that. You'll see trends and everything. Because right now, I'm going to be honest with you, in Yu-Gi-Oh! You used to be able to predict the market. Since Crush Card, I can't even predict the market. You used to have situations where after national season, prices went down. Now I am just seeing prices go like this, and I'm like, okay, people got a lot of cash to throw around because they're not going out a lot. Especially knowing Yu-Gi-Oh players, we are a very hermit-like society sometimes. We would rather stay inside and not shower or shave for days on end. Remember to shower. I'm no shave November, right? That's what I'm doing. But yeah, guys, that's what you got to keep in mind here, is there will be changes with this going on, and that will be affecting the amount of prices, more data, raw data on what the best decks are. And the other thing I want to mention, which is the third thing I was alluding to, is there are going to be more players at events, I feel like. I really feel that way. And, I hear this from players all the time. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying. My local's closed because of Crush Card. Oh, this... you would be surprised what comments I have to, like... I'm just like, what are they... Like, people comment on random videos about that. And I'm just like, what the freak? Like, what? Why would you say that? Like, it's not... I mean, if you look at the data... If you look at the data before Crush Card, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like this. Like, do you recall how hyped people were a year ago before Master Rule 5, when Master Rule 5 was announced? A year ago, this time, almost a year ago. They were happy. Do you remember the prices of cards just spiked up for a few months because of that reason? I do. And do you remember how people were still excited when it finally took effect and were excited to play? I'm going to be honest with you, I still get those same comments because locals have started reopening. I believe it may take a couple of tournaments, but you're going to see a very drastic rise in Yu-Gi-Oh! Attendance when you have your first YCS, especially, and when you have multiple YCSs happening back to back to back, and regionals attendance. I believe you're going to see a spike, and it's for the data leading up to Crush Card was showing this was going to happen, and the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have not had major events besides online remote dueling. That leads me to believe when we have these major events happening, yeah, you're going to see this happen. You really are. Like, it's... The data just believes me. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, the things they love is, like I said, not showering, not shaving, spending money on cards, and they do love to travel to major events. They do. And I believe you would definitely see that because they probably haven't seen buddies in a long time. They want to play with these cards they've had for ages in real life. In real life, not just remotely. I believe that you're going to see a spike. And I mean, I hear these comments all the time. That's not the case. It's dying and everything. And I'm just like, the data is showing me differently. When this year, I have had more growth on my channel, just mine, not including everybody other Yugi tuber, but just on my channel, I've had more growth this year than I've had in the 6 years I've been on YouTube. And I've had more views on deck profiles, videos, people commenting on deck profiles, people saying they're excited to get back into the game, even in November and October. They're coming back, they're getting into it, they've seen the anime again, they love it, they want to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I mean, I used to see those comments once in a while, now you're seeing them a lot more. And it's for multiple reasons. So, what I'm saying is, I see a lot of swing in popularity of Yu-Gi-Oh! Which leads me to believe that tournaments are going to go up in attendance more. Because even if you look at the data from 2019, Yu-Gi-Oh! In certain regions was having massive attendance. I mean, massive attendance in Europe, in the US, just big attendance spikes in 2018, 2019, and it was expected for 2020, and then everything happened. So, with everything going on and the way I've talked to you guys about it, I believe that will be the case for 2021. If we start having live events like that again. Or whenever that is. It will happen. Mark my words. It will. I'm not going to bet a house, but I'd bet a Blue Eyes White Dragon on it. Like an anime version of Blue Eyes White Dragon where there's only like 4 in the world. I bet one of those on it. Let's say that. Because it just makes sense. The data makes sense. And maybe, like I said, it may not be the first, the second, the third, but once they get Konami gets into a rhythm of, okay, this is how we're going to do it in the new normal, it'll be amazing. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think down below. How do you think when we do eventually have live events, how will it affect the game overall? And until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and I'll see all of you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Seto Kaiba out.